cold calling has a bad reputation in my mind because what are most salespeople doing? Let's be honest. What is the average sales call looking like, or cold call looking like? You're saying, hey, this is Jiri speaking from company XYZ. Do you have 2 minutes time? Oh, perfect. I'm calling from company this and that, and we offer this and this product, and we have this and this customers, and we are so awesome because our USP is ABC, and that's why I want to book a meeting with you. So cold calling has a bad reputation because sales reps are pushing products, are pushing their pitches, and people are sick of pitches. People are sick of getting pushed over and being sold something. But what people like, what people actually enjoy, we love to shop, we love to buy, we love to have a nice experience, and we love people that understand us, that with them we can have like a nice conversation on an eye-to-eye level. So the reputation is bad because we are pushing products and pitching, and how we can change that is just having normal conversations with a human being on the other side on the phone.
Do you think that's why you're also fascinated by cold calling? Like where did the passion start for you?
I think there are 3 things why I'm passionate about cold calling and why you should be passionate about cold calling as well. First of all, it's the easiest way to learn sales. Easiest in the sense it's not easy because you get a lot of rejections, but you have so many conversations, you get to learn your own strengths and weaknesses, you learn how to communicate, you learn to, within milliseconds, read the emotions of the other person based on the voice, of the tonality. So you can adapt yourself to the other person. You learn how to navigate the conversation, how to steer a conversation, how to ask smart questions. And that's why I think that cold calling is something that everyone should be passionate about, because it's the, I would say, the rocket fuel for your personal development, for your communication skills. And down the line, if you're starting out as an SDR, for example, it's the best way to practice speaking with people that maybe have 5, 10, 20 years of experience more than you, and still being able to bring them value and seeing yourself as a valuable resource is something that makes cold calling a thing that probably will never extinct.
Yeah, especially the point that you get instant feedback from your opener, from the relevance, like the reason why you think you should call someone. And then the person says, actually, that's not relevant at all. So if that's not relevant, I get instant feedback to adapt that in my social selling, in my emails, etc., etc. Actually, I don't know my prospect that well. I need to learn a bit more. That's why one of the reasons why I also love cold calling, because it really, just as you say, like an instant improvement. I think what I always find interesting is the difference in markets. So when I listen to my UK colleagues, they always started with, hi, this is Helena, how are you doing today? And I looked at them, I'm like, I can't believe that you actually get a response to that question. If I ask someone in Germany, how are you doing today? They're like, why are you calling me? Why should I even talk to you? That's inefficient. What do you feel like if you're a seller cold calling into the, like in the DACH market, what should you know about?
So let's maybe a disclaimer, right? So I was cold calling my whole life, 80% in a German speaking market, right? So my comparison is based on observations and conversations with other salespeople. But my observation is that the German-speaking market is specific in the sense that you need to be much more professional. You need to be more prepared. You need to come with more industry-specific insights and value that is tied to the specific persona that you're speaking with. Compared, for example, to maybe UK or the US, or let's say the Anglo-American market, where you can be much more casual. Hey, how are you? You always start with the first name. You maybe have more like a casual conversation. In a German-speaking market, the conversation should be more professionally framed compared to the English-speaking market. But I think we overthink too much that, but there are different things in different markets. Yes, but don't overcomplicate your life. The fundamental rules, how cold calling is done, is the same in every market. Why? Because the human psychology Is the same in the US, in UK, in Germany, in China, or in South Africa. We all have a human brain, and if you understand the psychological mechanisms behind the human brain, then you also understand how you need to do cold calling.
Can you tell us a little bit about that?
So first of all, will you buy from someone that you don't trust?
No.
No. So what is the first thing you need to establish in a cold call?
Trust. I feel like it's a bit like,
so the first,
I like that. 100 points.
So the yeah, exactly. So the first thing that you need to establish is trust. People like other people that are similar to them or how they would like to be. So I repeat that, okay? People like people that are like them or how they would like to be. So if we know that we need to establish trust via sympathy, then we need to be like the other person. What does it mean? If I'm cold calling and a person picks up and is super upbeat and energetic, and you as a seller are more like, okay, careful, slow, low on energy, then you will automatically lose the person. So you need to build trust based on vocal cues and the tonality and not with the content. Other example would be if the person is very, maybe, reserved, low on energy, very slow voice, and also very low in volume, and you call them and say, "Hey, this is Helena from SDRs of Germany. How is it going today?" You will completely lose the person. You will overrun the person. So the first step, the psychological cue, is you need to create sympathy and trust. And how you do it, you adapt to the other person based on tonality. Okay. The second cue that you need to focus on is positive priming. So our brain is organized in a way that we have different neurons in different areas in our brain. If you ask questions where you know that you will get a yes, and the person says something like, "Hey, so you're responsible for the IT department at company XYZ, right, Helena?" And you say yes, I will automatically activate in your brain the area that is associated with positivity and yes. What does it mean? Down the road in the cold call conversation, the customer will be much more likely to say yes also to a meeting because you primed his brain positively towards you. And the third psychological cue that you can use is that we have something called loss aversion. What does loss aversion mean? Human beings are more motivated by the things that we lose versus things we gain. So if I tell you, "Hey, Helena, give me 100 euros," or "Hey, Helena, hey, I will give you 100 euros. The loss of the 100 euros will always be emotionally much more impactful than the gain of the 100 euros. So what does it mean for a cold caller or for sales in general? It doesn't matter if you say something like, "Hey, so if we are company XYZ and we help you to improve your results by 10%. That's great. But we need to frame it negatively to trigger that loss aversion. So pain is always a bigger driver for action than is some gain. So instead of saying, "Hey, we can improve the revenue by 10%, we can help you prevent losing revenue between 10 to 50 million. It's a much bigger and stronger motivator and pitch and value statement than something positive. So I would break it down to those three areas. It's trust, it's positive priming, and it's loss aversion and the negative framing of your pitch and value statement.
I love that. I really love that. I think it's super easy to understand as well. And just like 3 points that you kind of have to remember when you cold call someone in DACH or globally, I guess, what you just said as well. So with that in mind, what would you say is like your magic opener? Because I know in your masterclass, which I love, I was sitting behind the camera and I was like, "Oh my God, I did it all wrong." And I know like you work with a very successful script. So what's your magic opener? What's your template, let's say, that you can use and like to use in cold calls a little bit, if that makes sense?
Yeah, if I can comment on that, right? So now
Please,
comes the
yeah.
big caveat here. There is not a right way to do an opener. There is not just one way. There is the saying multiple roads lead to Rome, right? So the yes staircase is just one method that is very easy to apply, that works, but there are multiple methods. I know other people that prefer openers like, hey, this is a cold call, will you hang up right now? You can do that, but you can only do that if you feel comfortable with it. So, other people say things like, hey, I would like to book a meeting with you, but only if it makes sense. Do you give me 30 seconds? Yeah, I mean, you can do all kinds of different things. Ultimately, what works is what works. So if it brings you the results, then it's a good strategy. In sales, it's always about maximizing the likelihood of getting a meeting or converting an opportunity into a deal. So what we want to do is we want to use the strategies that will maximize my success rate, because even if you are the best cold caller out there, you will still get probably sometimes even more rejections than yeses, right? Although I say if you reach a certain proficiency in cold calling, you should be able to convert 2 out of 3 conversations to a meeting. So if you are at level 2 out of 3, you already achieved, I would say, cold calling proficiency.